Facebook a company that Berkshire or you personally would put your money into?
Well, we never buy a new offering. I can't recall in my life buying a new offering. The idea that something coming out, we'll say on a Monday, that's being offered with significant commissions, all kinds of publicity, everything, the seller electing the time to sell is going to be the best single investment that I can make in the world among thousands of choices. It's mathematically impossible. So we're not a buyer of new issues.
But even at this time, you said, look, even at Google and Apple now, you wouldn't be a buyer, but you wouldn't short them either.
I wouldn't short them either. No, I wouldn't short. I would not short Facebook. I would not short Google. I would not short Apple. They're fantastic companies. But in terms of what they'll be worth 5 or 10 years from now, I just don't know.
All right, Warren, thanks.
Thank you.
Are you on Facebook?
No.
Is Facebook a company that Berkshire or you would put your money in?
Well, the answer is I don't invest in what I don't understand. And I don't want to understand Facebook.
Why?
I don't want people putting all this personal stuff into a permanent record when they're 15 years of age and all that. I think it's counterproductive. I just basically don't like it.
So you oppose the whole idea of it?
Yes.
So you're not putting any money there?
Well, I wouldn't put any money there, even if I kind of liked it, because I would feel I didn't understand it well enough to invest in it.
Warren, over the weekend we talked a little bit about this, and you mentioned that you have spoken with Mark Zuckerberg about what he needs to be doing with his company. When did you talk to him?
Last year at Sun Valley.
And what was the basic, did he come to you or did you reach out to him?
Well, he or Cheryl or somebody said, they'd like to get together to talk a little bit about Facebook, and so we talked.
Well, obviously, you've been in a position of taking a private company public. Is that basically what you were talking about?
Yeah, although we didn't exactly. I took a private company public when I was in the tech world and with data documents many years ago, but Berkshire we never really took public.
Well, you're a public company now. It started out as a private partnership. Sure. When you look at what's happening with Facebook, I know that this is not something you're a fan of, but you're also not saying that at this point you wouldn't buy into it because it's not something that you feel comfortable with, but you don't think this is a bubble scenario.
Oh, no. I'm an agnostic on a company like Facebook. Anytime you get a truly extraordinary business, and it's obviously, it's an extraordinary business, but they're the hardest ones to value, because the question is whether 5 or 10 years from now that they will be as extraordinary as they are now, or they may keep doing more and more wonderful things. So it's just harder to figure out than, we'll say Coca-Cola. I mean, Coca-Cola 10 years from now is going to be bigger and more profitable in my view than it is now, but there won't be some quantum change in either direction. So it's much easier for me to figure out what Coca-Cola is worth than Google or Facebook or, you name it.
Although you did get into technology stocks with IBM, and that caught a lot of people by surprise. Is IBM a very different company than those others?
It's certainly a company that's future will not look as different 5 or 10 years from now, in my view, than it does now, than will happen with a Facebook or an Apple. It can be in either direction. I would never short those stocks, and I'm not saying they have anything but brilliant futures, but I just don't know.
Right. So that's the question: is when it's a fast-growing company in a quickly changing arena.
It's just harder to figure, and it's fascinating to watch. But I don't have to draw a conclusion on even tens of stocks. I just have to look at one or two and feel that I've got a reasonable fix on what those companies will look like in 5 or 10 years.
Looking at rising corporate leaders in America right now, I'd like your take on Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, he's a remarkable guy. No, I don't know him well, but I mean, he's joined our Giving Pledge. He's changed the lives of like 1 billion something people around the world. I mean, it's remarkable what he's done. I mean, he did more. He's done more for the world than I was doing nothing at that age.